we resolved to camp there. We were within 100 yards or so of this cliff when an exclamation from Spicer attracted my attention. "Look!" he cried. "What's that?" I followed the direction in which he was pointing, and to my surprise saw the figure of a man running as if for his life among the rocks. I have said the figure of a man, but as a matter of fact, had there been baboons in the Australian bush, I should have been inclined to have taken him for one. "This is a day of surprises," I said. "Who can the fellow be, and what makes him act like that?" We still continued to watch him as he proceeded on his erratic course along the base of the cliff. Then he suddenly disappeared. "Let's get on to camp," I said, "and then we'll go after him and endeavour to settle matters a bit." Having selected a place, we off-saddled and prepared our camp. By this time it was nearly dark, and it was very evident that if we wanted to discover the man we had seen, it would be wise not to postpone the search too long. We accordingly strolled off in the direction he had taken, keeping a sharp lookout for any sight of him. Our search, however, was not successful. The fellow had disappeared without leaving a trace of his whereabouts behind him, and yet we were all certain that we had seen him. At length we returned to our camp for supper, completely mystified. As we ate our meal, we discussed the problem and vowed that on the morrow we would renew the search. Then the full moon rose over the cliff, and the plain immediately became well nigh as bright as day. I had lit my pipe and was stretching myself out upon my blankets, when something induced me to look across at a big rock some half-dozen paces from the fire. Peering round it, and evidently taking an absorbing interest in our doings, was the most extraordinary figure I have ever beheld. Shouting something to my companions, I sprang to my feet and dashed across at him. He saw me and fled. Old as he apparently was, he could run like a jackrabbit, and though I have the reputation of being fairly quick on my feet, I found that I had all my work cut out to catch him. Indeed, I am rather doubtful as to whether I should have done so at all, had he not tripped and measured his legs on the ground. Before he could get up, I was on him. "I've got you at last, my friend," I said. "Now you just come along back to the camp and let us have a look at you." In reply he snarled like a dog, and I believe would have bitten me, had I not held him off. My word, he was a creature more animal than man, and the reek of him was worse than that of our camels. From what I could tell, he must have been about 60 years of age, was below the middle height, had wide eyebrows, white hair, and a white beard. He was dressed partly in rags and partly in skins, and went barefooted like a blackfellow. While I was overhauling him, the others came up, whereupon we escorted him back to the camp. "Oh, what wouldn't Bottom give for him?" said Spicer. "You're a beauty, my friend, and no mistake. What's your name?" The fellow only grunted in reply. Then, seeing the pipes in our mouths, a curious change came over him, and he muttered something that resembled "give me." "Wants a smoke?" interrupted Matthews. "Poor beggar's been without for a long time, I reckon. Well, I've got an old pipe, so you can have a draw." He procured one from his pack saddle, filled it, and handed it to the man, who snatched it greedily and began to puff away at it. "How long have you been out here?" I asked, when he had squatted himself down alongside the fire. "Don't know," he answered, this time plainly enough.